You will be the nominee coming up on Tuesday. More than happy to welcome Meg Whitman to 1380. Good morning, Meg.
Well, good morning, Eric. How are you this morning?
I am doing fine, and thank you for the time today. We're looking forward to, speaking of time, spending time with you coming up Sunday in Elk Grove.
That will be great. Yeah, we're going to be Sunday 4:30 at the Lent Ranch in Elk Grove. I'm looking forward to it.
You're doing like, what, 3 or 4 of these over the weekend, up and down the state, campaigning hard all the way to the finish line.
Exactly. Just flat out right until Tuesday, June 8th. So I'm excited about it. I feel good about where we are, and I can feel the momentum on the campaign trail, so it's good.
Let me get your comments on the poll numbers, up 25, 26, 27, if you look at the plus or minus right now. So really the story of about a couple of weeks back of immigration and the catnip and Poizner closing the poll numbers now has gone the other way, and so now you got a commanding lead.
Yeah, and I think, the message that I talk about every day on the campaign trail, which is jobs in the economy, putting Californians back to work, getting out of control Sacramento spending under control, and once and for all turning around our K through 12 education system is really, resonating with voters. I mean, I do think jobs in the economy is the number one issue. And, unemployment is, sticky. It's not going down, and I meet people every day on the campaign trail who are terribly worried about their future.
Meg, when it comes to jobs, a business in the state, I'll get a few phone calls and people will say, well, we're concerned that, Meg will get in office and that majority party and those unions and all the legislation and the shadow of AB 32 will change her or force her into a corner. I asked Governor Wilson about this, and he said, no, it's not going to happen. She's a junkyard dog. But there's people concerned that you're going to get beaten up down there. Can you speak to the intimidation of the Capitol and the fears of the people, because they've seen it happen before?
Yeah. There's no question that it's a very challenging environment, but you have to be tough as nails. And you cannot be focused on whether you're popular or whether people, think you are doing the right thing. You have got to believe in the course that you set out and focus on getting a small number of things done. And here's the other good thing, Eric, is because I have not been in politics for my entire life, I don't owe anyone anything. So I am not owned by the special interests. I'm not owned by the status quo. In fact, my whole mission is to upend the status quo. So, yeah, you got to be tough as nails, but you have to have a clear vision of where you want to take the state. But I think I can absolutely make forward progress here. There's no question that having a business person running the state, I think, really bodes well for the business climate, for making it easier for small businesses to grow and thrive. And small businesses are going to have to lead us out of this recession, as you know.
Once again, talking with Meg Whitman here on Hogue in the Morning on 1380 KTKZ. I heard John Burton yesterday in a soundbite. I think he dropped the F-bomb 15 times in about 8 minutes, which tells me that he's very, very nervous about the general election coming up. And now we're reading, Meg, that the unions are doing that coalescing thing, putting all their money together. Here they come. Are you ready for Jerry Brown and the attack of the unions?
Well, they are amassing for sure, and I'm ready for it. Because you know what? Jerry Brown and the unions and John Burton want to protect the status quo. They are traditional Sacramento politicians. They are part of the problem, not part of the solution. And so I'm ready to take them on. And it will be an exciting contest. There will be lots of coalescing on the other side to try to protect the status quo in Sacramento, and I just refuse to let it happen.
I'm just confused, and I said this on the show yesterday, why the nurses are chasing you around the state, because you're married to a neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
You would think anybody that would understand medicine and nurses, it would be you.
Yeah, and gosh, my husband, as you point out, is a doctor, has tremendous respect for nurses. I haven't made any comments on public policy issues, I think, that offend the nurses, so I'm a bit mystified as well. But I think they're part of the union team that supports Jerry Brown, and it may not really be about nursing issues. It may be more about just the unions pulling together to protect the status quo in Sacramento.
Couple of emails flooding in. One saying, ask Meg about her environmental position. I know that when it comes to AB 32, you're looking past that right now because of our economic current status. Is that legitimate comment to make?
Yeah, I mean, I was the first gubernatorial candidate to sound the alarm on AB 32, because my view was this was going to drive more businesses out of California that would far swamp the number of green jobs that might be created because of an AB 32. So I've called for a one-year moratorium. let's look and see what we've got here and chart a better path forward. I think there's a way to be green and smart in California, and this is, in my view, not smart. We are going to drive more businesses out than we keep in. And, we got to compete with other states for these green jobs, and no neighboring state, Arizona, Colorado, Texas, Nevada, has anything like AB 32. So we can compete without hurting our other businesses.
Meg, another email asking about furloughs. I think it's a state worker. Do you think furloughs have worked? Would you consider such, or is it more about looking at about 20 and 30,000 state workers and shrinking government?
Yeah, I am not a supporter of furloughs. I think you are better off right-sizing the size of government, getting the size of the workforce that we can afford, as opposed to, penalize everyone a certain amount of hours per week. I mean, the problem with furloughs is everyone gets hurt. You don't really right-size the government. And so I would be in favor of, attrition. Obviously, 10,000 to 12,000 people separate from the state every year. If we had a hiring freeze, we'd be down by 36,000 workers over 3 years. And then, selective reductions to make the government more efficient. The truth is, we have a government we cannot afford, and we are going to have to right-size it.